This is TJ Jones, the host of the State of the Saints podcast, and the State of the Saints podcast is brought to you by Manscaped.com. Over 2 million men worldwide choose Manscaped for all their below-the-waist needs. For those that love the Lawnmower 3.0, well, I got news for you. The Manscaped engineering team has confirmed that they have successfully created the Lawnmower 4.0. The Lawnmower 4.0 gives you the ability to turn the 4000K LED spotlight on and off when needed for a more precise shave. The new trimmer even allows you to customize your trim all through additional guards lengths, sizes 1 through 4. And looks-wise, it's sleek with a two-tone matte and gloss finish, even features a hot foil stamp, black chrome Manscaped logo. Show your mower off loud and proud. Go to manscaped.com, use the promo code STATEOFSAINTS, and you will save 20% off of the Lawnmower 4.0 as well as other Manscaped items. That's manscaped.com. What's going on, Who Dat Nation? It is yours truly, TJ Jones, the host of the State of the Saints podcast. Thank you so much for checking out the State of the Saints podcast, where we talk New Orleans Saints. And Who Dat Nation, I'm about to have a show that I wasn't prepared for, a show that I definitely didn't want to have. We're going to be talking about Richard Sherman, of course. I'm pretty sure a lot of you know by now that Richard Sherman has been arrested. He has been arrested for burglary, domestic violence. According to ESPN, I'm going to read this report. It says free agent cornerback Richard Sherman is facing several charges, including one on suspicion of burglary, domestic violence, after he was arrested at his wife's parents' residence in Redmond, Washington, early Wednesday. Redmond Police Department Chief Darrell Lowe said at the news conference Wednesday that Sherman also faces charges of suspicion of resisting arrest and malicious mischief. In addition, Washington State Patrol Captain Ron Meade said at the news conference at his department is also ready to refer Sherman to prosecutors for possible misdemeanor DUI and hit and run charges related to a separate incident Wednesday. Sherman sustained minor lacerations to the lower leg and ankle and was treated at a local hospital as a result of contact from a police dog, which was used in apprehension, Lowe said. An officer at the scene also received minor injuries, he said. So, Who Dat Nation, I wasn't prepared to have a show like this, man. I was going to be talking about some of these young cornerbacks that the Saints have on the roster. That was the focus on the show tonight. But of course, so many people hit me up about Richard Sherman. Richard Sherman was definitely on a lot of members of the Who Dat Nation's radar when it comes to possibly signing with the New Orleans Saints. A lot of members of the Who Dat Nation, including myself, wanted to see Richard Sherman sign with the New Orleans Saints. But I don't know, man. These type of situations always make me very uncomfortable to talk about, especially since I heard the 911 call, which I'm going to play for you all. This is Richard Sherman's wife calling 911 after, she was very concerned about Richard Sherman. Check it out.
I need officers to my house now. My husband is drunk and threatening to kill himself.
Stop. What's the address? Are there any weapons? Stop.
We
Are there
we
any,
took
listen to
no.
me.
There's no gun. I'm saying there are no weapons, ma'am. There are no weapons.
You need to stop interrupting me so I can get the information I need to get officers expedited.
I need officers here now.
What's he doing that you think he's going to harm himself?
He's being aggressive. He has sent text message. I took the keys out. They're in your car. He's trying to leave now in the house. He's being aggressive. He's wrestling with my uncle. He's threatening to kill himself. He has sent text messages to people saying he's going to hang himself. He's saying that if the police show up, so please don't shoot is what I'm asking.
Okay, wait. Say that again.
He has no weapon.
He says if the police show up,
he said if the police show up, that he'll try to fight them. So they need to understand that he is.
Okay. Has it been physical with anybody there? You said he's trying to fight your uncle?
Yes, it has. Yes, it has.
How has it been physical?
He just tried to fight him.
Okay, trying to fight somebody and actually being physical is two different things. How has it been physical?
He's pulling. It's a 2016 black Mercedes. Richard, please stop. Richard, please stop. Please stop.
Is that a sedan, SUV?
It's just a black sedan Mercedes SUV.
Okay.
He's not going to be able to get out the gate. I cut it off.
What do you mean you cut it off?
I cut the gate. We live behind it. It's Richard Sherman. Like, ma'am, this is like a emergency. I need officers here now.
Man, you know what, Who That Nation? I was one of those people that definitely wanted to see Richard Sherman a part of the New Orleans Saints team. But it seems to me that Richard Sherman doesn't need football right now. It seems that Richard Sherman is really going through some things. That was a very disturbing 911 call. And I know it had to take a lot for his wife to call 911, especially the fact that, you know, he's such a public figure, man. Everybody know who Richard Sherman is, especially in the state of Washington. And for her to call 911 on him, hearing some of the things that she's saying, talking about him thinking about killing himself, being drunk. Man, I just feel awful, man, to hear a woman crying for help for a husband. You know, Richard Sherman is still in jail right now. During the making of this podcast, I'm recording this right now at 9:30 at night on a Wednesday, and Richard Sherman is still in custody. He will be able to stand before the court. I think Thursday afternoon, if I'm not mistaken. Once again, some things are bigger than football. Richard Sherman is a great football player. 3-time All-Pro, 2-time second-team All-Pro, Super Bowl champion, 5-time Pro Bowler. But life is real, folks. Life is real. Life is real. You know, like, we look at these guys being larger than life. They give us so many great moments when we're watching them on television. They give us reasons to be proud of. And when you look at situations or hear situations like this, man, it's just sad. I just hope that this brother gets the help that he needs, man. Like, forget about, New Orleans Saints possibly getting them, and, the chance of the New Orleans Saints getting them, man. Forget about all that. I'm more concerned about what this guy can do after football, because there are so many situations that we hear like this, Who That Nation, and we kind of sweep it under the rug, man. We label these guys crazy. We label these guys insane. We talk about the bankroll that they got. We talk about the money that they have in the bank, but we don't really address the seriousness of what football can actually do to you. Taking all those hits, and just dealing with that, man, taking a wear and tear on your body. And sometimes, man, those hits can take a toll. And I just hope that this guy, can find some help. And I hope that it wasn't serious. And hopefully it was just one of those situations where Richard Sherman, just had a little bit too much to drink and he was just talking a little bit out of his mind. Because Richard Sherman is such a smart guy. Like, he he has a life outside of football. Like if this guy wanted to go into broadcasting, he could. If this guy wanted to probably do something politically, he probably could have. You know, like he has like so many avenues he can travel. And when you hear a guy, you know, thinking about possibly killing himself, according to his wife, allegedly, it's sad. It's sad, man. And you wonder to yourself, like, what caused this type of reaction? You know what I'm saying? Was it the fact that, I don't know, I'm just speculating. Was it the fact that all of a sudden you become like one of the most well-touted players in the world, and all of a sudden you're not? You know what I'm saying? You have to come to grips with your immortality. You got to think about something that you possibly been doing since you were a teenager. You no longer will be doing. Like, what was going through his mind? Like, and you can hear like the pain and hurt and fear in his wife, you know, listening to that phone call. Whatever is going on with Richard Sherman, I just hope that he gets it together, man. Once again, the Saints are going to be okay. You know, some of us wanted him to come to New Orleans. Some of us were probably, you know, anticipating, you know, maybe the Saints working something out with him. But I'm off that bandwagon. I'm off that bandwagon, man. I'm sorry. I'm off that bandwagon. Like, there's some things that are worth more than just seeing a well sought out player on your team. I hope this brother get the help that he needs, and hopefully it's not too serious. Like I said, man, these type of situations always make me uncomfortable to talk about, man, because domestic violence is real. Suicide is real. This is near and dear to me, especially this subject, because I have been a person that dealt with depression, anxiety. I was a person that thought about, you know, ending my life from, you know, at one time, you know, and when I hear about people thinking about possibly taking everything and just throwing it all away by ending their own life, I got to take it serious. For all those people out there that are checking out the State of the Saints podcast that's dealing with anxiety, depression, possible thoughts of suicide, just know, man, that there are people out there that love you. There's help out there for you. There are individuals that will really, truly miss you if you were to leave this world. I feel like that message is appropriate for a podcast like this. Thank y'all very much for checking out the State of the Saints podcast. I'm gonna go ahead and read some comments. Mobile up the phone lines, man, because I know a lot of people got some things to say about Richard Sherman. I'm gonna read some comments, then I'm gonna open up the phone lines. My goodness, man. My goodness. Brian says, can you come back on tomorrow and let us know what the updates is, if you don't mind? Brian, I'm going to be honest with you, man. I don't like having shows like this. Probably not going to have another show like this again. Like I said, man, this hits too close to home to me, especially when somebody, you know, especially like with situations like this, man. I just want to have a one and done episode of this. And the reason why I'm having this show right now is because people, you know, were asking me to do a show on this. This wasn't the topic for this edition of the State of the Saints podcast. He got to be on suicide watch. Yeah, I think that's the case. I think that's the reason why they're not setting bail. I mean, anytime a guy, you know, texts people and talk about, you know, possibly committing suicide, fighting with the police, I mean, it seems like this guy is on the edge, man. And I don't know what the situation is. I don't know what it is. I don't know why. But I just hope that he gets the help he needs. And he is better than this situation he's going through. He's a better man than that. We never know what people are going through. That's just a fact. We look at people and we look at them and it seems like they got their life together. They got money in the bank. they're successful, they got a good job, they got a nice car, and we just think that that person has the world on the string. But in reality, we don't know what's going on behind the scenes. We don't know what that person is going through. And that's one of the main reasons why we cannot equate money to success and happiness. You know, that's the reason why we have to find our own happiness, and it don't have to be surrounded by money, and it don't have to be surrounded by entourage, and it don't have to be surrounded by 4 and 5 cars in your garage. You have to find success and love in other ways as well. You have to have love for yourself. You have to have happiness from other avenues in your life, man. It can't just always be wrapped up in money. You know, sounds like he and his wife were having some issues. For him to act this way, he was having mental breakdowns. That's sad. Yeah, man. And I think this is an appropriate time to address CTE. That this is appropriate time, man. Like, that stuff is real. All those headshots, concussions, you know, these guys up here making these tackles, man, that stuff is real. And like I said at the beginning, we look at these guys and they go through some of these issues, and we just kind of scoff at it and say, oh man, this guy just blowing it. But we don't understand why. We don't know what these guys' mental makeup is at that particular time. We don't know. So I think sometimes, man, we got to be a little bit more sensitive to some of these stories that we're hearing. Because, you know, these guys be going through. TJ, are you sold on Xavier Howard? I think Xavier Howard is really good, but he has to do it again for me in order for me to be sold on him. I have to see it again in order for me to be sold on Xavier Howard. You know, I'm always skeptical about guys doing something 1 year because, I mean, I look at a guy like Byron Jones, who had a really good season for the Cowboys, and then for the Dolphins, when he got that big contract, didn't really do anything at all. So I have to see him do it again in order for me to be sold on him. The Bucs should get him. If we talking about are we talking about Xavier Howard, or are we talking about Richard Sherman? Sherman must have been on that Sherman. Man, like I said, we never know what guys be going through, but we'll go ahead and open up the phone lines right now, man. Feel free to chime in. We'd love to hear what you all have to say about this particular topic. Thank y'all so much. That bandwagon says TJ then hopped off me. Yeah, man. If he can get himself back together and, you know what I'm saying, get the help and all the other things that he needs, then I'll get back on it. But when guys start to like get stuff like concussions and, you know what I'm saying, be dealing with stuff that involves their mental makeup, I'm always concerned about the player first, more so than what they can do for this team, you know, because these guys are human beings. These guys are human beings. I'm going to go to Aaron. Start with Aaron. Aaron, thank you so much for being on the State of the Saints podcast. You can go ahead and take it away, man. Whatever's on your mind, feel free to chime in.
I look at this and I literally see me from 2 years ago. I was on the phone with one of my best friends I've known since elementary school. I had thoughts of suicide, and I was venting to him about it. The thing he did, at the time, I didn't understand why he did it. I begged him not, but debt, like medical debt aside, I probably wouldn't even be here today if it wasn't for him being proactive and making that call in the first place. So, man, shouts out to Ronnie if he ever sees this, man.
Yeah,
I can deal with $970. I can pay that off over my year. That's fine. I'll take $970 because, look, guys, no matter how much debt you got, you can't put a price on it. You can't put a price on your life. You can't put a price on it, or nobody's life for that matter.
Right.
Richard Sherman going through what he's going. I'm not much of a Christian man, but I will say that I hope that he gets everything he needs to make a full recovery mentally and psychologically. because this isn't a joke. Anybody, I don't care if you're rocking with me or TJ or anybody on Twitter that's a influential figure. If you try to use this as a point to where you say hopefully the Saints don't sign him, I can't rock with you.
No.
I can't rock with you, period.
Right.
I don't care how tight we are. This is more than just the Saints not being interested in signing him. This isn't football anymore. This is a man's life. We're talking about someone who nearly just put his own nail in his own coffin, and the psychological scars that would have affected his wife and his close family, his friends. Do not come on my page, my Twitter, my Facebook, talking about the Saints better off not signing him. Because I promise you, you will be cut in an instant. And I will have no qualms in doing so. This is like, this really hurts, TJ. It really does.
Yeah, man. It does. Aaron, man. Man, this show is like so close to home to me, man. And I'm pretty sure it's pretty close to home to others. And I know this is a sports show, man, but when you start talking about, depression, anxiety, being suicidal, man, so many people out there, man, that deal with these type of situations, man. And you just said, man, if you are so dead inside, for you to just miss this situation and just think that, oh, he paid, what he got to complain about? Bump all that, man. These are human beings that we talking about, man. Rather you got $970 in the bank, $9.70, or $970 million. We're all dealing with something inside. And for you to sit up here and just dismiss this because you think that, oh, your life is just so great because you got this, like, you missing the whole point. We're all freaking human, man. All freaking human. Straight up.
Let me just say this before I get out of here, because obviously someone else is going to want to be on the line, and I don't want to take up too much of your time or their time. I just want to address one comment in your chat, TJ, that I literally just came across.
What's that?
That boy Purge 504. If you see it highlighted, he says, and I quote, "This brings down his value." Get out of here with that. Get out. What goes through your head to where you can literally you literally cannot read a room? This brings down his value. This isn't football no more. If you haven't noticed the air that TJ is talking about, that I'm literally sitting here talking about, that his chat is talking about, you're still gonna come up here and say this brings down his value. Go bring that somewhere else. Man, we are over here trying to hope and pray that this man gets better, and you still want to sit up in here and talk about football? Your life is sad. Man. Your life is extremely sad. That boy 504.
Yeah,
this
man,
literally just
that ain't it. That ain't it.
Irritated the heck out of me. I hope I never see him on my YouTube page. I'm blocking him if I do. That's all I have to say, TJ.
Yeah, man. Aaron,
that's his opinion. Yeah. That's his opinion. I get it. More power to him, but I'm not rocking with that. I'm not rocking with that period.
Yeah, I can't rock with that either, man. Aaron, thank you so much, man. Appreciate it, man. Thank you for sharing your story, man. Thank you for your bravery here tonight, man. I appreciate that.
Yeah, take it easy, TJ. Who that,
you too. Who that, man? Yeah, it's real, man. It's real out here. And look, if you want to talk football, chime in. You know what I'm saying? That's fine. If you want to come and share a story or talk about Richard Sherman, feel free to do so as well, man. Man, it's real out here, man. This is real stuff right here, man. We're going to go to Chris. Chris, what's going on, man? How you doing?
What up, TJ? How you doing? You can hear me?
Yeah, I can hear you just fine, man. How you doing?
Making it, man. Yeah. So sad about Richard Sherman, man.
Yeah, awful, man.
Guy going through it. I know he was potential target for Saints bringing like a veteran corner, basically, but when a guy's going through it, it's just sad, man.
Yeah, awful, man.
Reminds me a lot of the Antonio Brown situation. Remember, like when he got traded to the Raiders, basically from the Steelers.
Yeah,
him going through basically all that, got blackballed from the league for a year. Only came back because Tom Brady vouched for him. That's the only reason why he came back.
Yeah,
it's just It's a horrible thing. Just guy going through. It's just sad.
Yeah.
But for a football question, I know the Saints still probably need a veteran corner in the locker room, basically, and probably a linebacker. What do you think about them bringing in, like, I don't know, veteran corner? Oh, God, what's his name? Played for the Steelers last year.
Steven Nelson.
Yeah, Steven Nelson. And KJ Wright, like, from the Seahawks. What do you think of, like, those two guys, basically?
I think both of those guys would be good fit. One person that I think that would also be a good fit would be DJ Hayden. That's still out there. I think he would be a really good.
Did he play for the Bengals, or who did he play for again? I don't remember exactly.
DJ Hayden played for the Raiders, and he also played for the Jags.
Okay, yeah. I don't know much about DJ Hayden. My bad.
I mean, he was one of those guys that was injured early in his career, but he was pretty solid. Like once he started to come along, you know what I'm saying, into his like second and third season. So I think that he would be a good fit for the New Orleans Saints. Of course, Steven Nelson, you just mentioned, would also be a good fit. Somebody like KJ Wright, I feel like the Saints need to be looking at, and it's imperative that they address that linebacker position more so than the cornerback position. And Chris, I got a show lined up. I mean, I did the research. Probably going to be the next show I do when I'm talking about some of these young cornerbacks that the Saints have on their team. Keith Washington II, Bryce Thompson, and also Paulson Adebo. There's some very young, hungry corners on this team. And if
I ain't saying. I'm saying, like, I know the corners are young and hungry. Like Paulson Adebo, I personally think if he would have played this last year, he probably would have gone in the first or second round.
Right.
Because he took that year off from Stanford, we were able to get him basically in the middle of the third. Mm-hmm. What I'm saying is, I'd like a guy who I know can still play, basically, can slide into that cornerback too if like some of our younger guys aren't ready.
Right.
But teach like some of the cornerbacks, hey, this is how you get ready. Marshawn and I, we've played this game for a little bit. Like this is Marshawn's fourth? No, it's his fifth year this time, isn't it? Yeah. So you could consider him a veteran at this point. Because he's not young and like no more. He's been around the league basically. Like show them how to prepare, how to get ready. But for linebackers, I don't know what you got. Demario Davis, and that's it pretty much. Like maybe Zach Bond, Pete Werner. They take a huge step forward. Maybe you even get Quan Alexander back, like on a very cheap deal off like injury.
Right.
Maybe sounds like a veteran minimum deal because he realized he's been injured his entire career. But you basically just need maybe one more linebacker because pretty much you're going to play nickel most of the time now in the NFL. It feels like nickel is like almost a new base defense because everybody's switching to that passing attack. The only time you really switch back to a true 4-3 with like four guys on the line and three linebackers is when you face like a heavy running team like Tennessee, Baltimore, stuff like. And even for Baltimore, you can't even face them because they got so much speed on their thing. You need to have basically play nickel. Yep.
Yeah, that's a good point, man. Those are all good points. But I think somebody like KJ Wright, who is still out there, I think that would be a good fit. You also mentioned Quan Alexander, guys that can run and that are short tacklers. I feel like that's what the Saints need. Yeah. I'm not as concerned about that linebacker position when it comes to like guys having the speed and be able to make tackle with some of these younger guys, especially like Pete Werner.
Yeah, that dude is fast, basically. And like when like we drafted him, I'm like, okay, I probably would have preferred Jabril Cox, but looking at him, I like the speed.
Right.
He's a great coverage linebacker, which I think is mainly what the Saints need. Because, the run defense is very important, but analytics show it's way more prudent to pass it basically every down. You get more bang for your buck for it. Obviously, running the football is still important, but I think, and people saying it's a half-half split. I see it as a 1/4 split. You got short, medium, and deep passes, and then you got running the ball. You got plays designed for like those four aspects of the field. When people say, it's a pass, they threw like 2 short passes and like 10 deep passes. How is that different balance like within your offense?
Exactly. Yeah, I mean, you look at somebody like Pete Warren. I mean, you look at his analytics. He did really good, like guarding tight ends and running back at Ohio State, and I think that the Saints did a good job picking him up. Yeah.
All I remember is like the Raiders game. Darren Waller made Malcolm Jenkins just look horrible, basically.
Yeah.
Like Malcolm Jenkins, he was fast enough to keep up with Waller. Wasn't big enough to bring him down, though.
Well, to Malcolm Jenkins' credit, man, Darren Waller made a lot of guys look like
yeah.
that.
Well, I'm just saying, like, I'd like somebody to match up against like a guy like the only person I think who would even have a chance to go up against Darren Waller on the defense would be Demario Davis.
Yeah.
Then he's a little slower than I expect, you know.
Yeah, Darren Waller is special though, Chris. I mean, not many guys can guard this
tight end
dude.
number 3 in my opinion. Tight end number 3 in the league.
Yeah, no doubt about it.
Behind George Kittle and Travis Kelce, you can flip-flop however you want to with those. I personally prefer Travis Kelce because he's not as injury prone, but Kittle's still amazing.
I would say I would give the reverse. I think George Kittle is more solid. Like when you think about a true tight end blocking and can catch the ball, you got to give George Kittle the knock.
Travis Kelce gets more of it from the receiving, but Kittle's just that freak of nature, basically.
Right.
I'm just like, I look back and like he was taken. I'm like, oh why did we not take him? Because he wasn't taken until the 5th round. I'm like, why did we not get him?
I mean, but he wasn't what he was.
I know,
in college than he was in a pro. He's a much better pro than he was a college player.
Hindsight is 2020.
Exactly.
Always 2020.
Yeah.
But man, I had a horror. I posted a reaction to my YouTube when Saints took Peyton Turner. I was flipping messed out. Basically, I'm like, sometimes I feel like I could be a better GM than the Saints. Like when, like no disrespect to Cesar Ruiz, like thinks the dude's gonna be great at guard. I'm like, why didn't you just take linebacker from LSU that the Ravens? Come on, take him.
Oh man, I don't know, man. Maybe they're allergic to LSU players, man.
I'm like, they did try to get TJ Marshall, but Panthers got him ahead of us. So
yeah, man, Terrence Marshall, like they were going to get him, man. But look, that guy could have easily like been available, and I feel like he would have gave you like 2nd round bang for your buck, but you decided to go with P. Warner. But Chris, thank you so much, man. Appreciate it.
All right,
thank you for your take, man. Always good call, man. Take it easy.
Yeah, love you, man.
I love you too, man. Who that? Shouts out to Chris, man. Always a good call, man. He's always on it. Read a few comments, then we're going to go to Josh. Start with Donald. Donald says KJ Wright. Yeah, KJ Wright is definitely on my radar. I would put Quan Alexander before him because Quan was here last season, so he kind of understands the defense. So it would be Quan, then KJ Wright in my book. Move on. Let's go ahead and go to Josh. Josh, how you doing, man?
Good, brother. Can you hear me?
Yeah, I can hear you just fine, Josh. Thank you for being on State of Saints podcast as always, brother.
Hey, thanks a lot, man. And before I get into what I'm going to say, I want to address something that first caller said.
Mm-hmm.
How he kind of jumped all over 504 guy, whatever his 504 chat name or whatever. Because I guess 504 guy said this is going to lower Richard Sherman's value.
Mm-hmm.
I just want to, I'm not like sticking up for 504 guy, but I just want to say that we don't know what he meant by that. We don't know what he knew when he posted that. I didn't even find out the whole story till you just played the 911 tape just now.
Right.
So 504 guy, we don't know that he was trying to be insensitive or anything like that. We don't know what's going through his mind. He could have very well just been like he might be a big Richard Sherman fan and be like, damn, this is going to lower his value. This is going to destroy his career. I didn't want that for him. You know what I mean?
Right.
We don't know that 504 guy was trying to be an ass. So let's give him the benefit of the doubt. Let's give him his side of the story before we jump all over him. So that's all I got to say about that.
Good point.
I think he was just letting out the first thought that came to his mind personally. I don't think he was trying to be like, insensitive or whatever. I'll let 504 guy speak for himself. But I just don't want everybody to jump down his throat because of that first caller.
Yeah. Well, I'm more in the realm, Josh, of if a person is looking at this more as a football move, more so than an actual real life move, then I can't roll with you. Now, I understand about how social media works. Sometimes we misinterpret things, especially like when people type them because we don't know the context of it. Because we don't know what that person actually meant by, like you just said. We don't know if that person like you said, man, it's gonna lower his value, or dang, this might lower his value. You know what I'm saying? Like you see how the different delivery of that and how it can actually mean. I understand how you meant. I understand what you meant when you said that. That's a good point. So I agree. Thank you for that.
Yeah. No, I just want to get his side of it. So I also want to say thank you for doing a show like this because The media is going to destroy Richard Sherman over the next couple of weeks. You know that.
Yeah, no doubt.
I hope he's smart enough to stay off of YouTube and to stay off of not watch the TV.
Yeah.
Because if he's going through it, that everything that he sees on TV is just going to make things a lot worse, because Skip Bayless and all of them are just, they're going to do what they do, and he's going to be in a worse mood than he already is. So
right.
Hopefully he's smart enough. But, I think I don't know what's going on in his head. I think part of it is, I think when you've been in the league for a long time like that, you start to think that your personal self-worth comes from the fact that you're this big star football player. And even if it didn't start that way, it's just when you've been in the league long enough, it just kind of becomes that.
Right.
And then when you start getting older and your value drops, you kind of maybe feel your personal self-worth drop too. And maybe that's part of what's going on with Richard Sherman. I don't know. But, I also struggled with suicidal thoughts in the past. Yeah. You know what I mean? And, I won't go into it, but I didn't grow up in an exactly normal household. I had two parents that had all kinds of mental issues, and we'll get into that another day. But it's funny because I've seen lots of people commit suicide that went through just basically 1 month of what I went through for like years.
Yeah. So
for whatever reason, and I'm not bragging, but I've been blessed with like an inner strength that is just stronger than most people in some ways for some reason.
Mm-hmm.
And I thank God for that. So God's got me here for a reason.
Yeah, that's true.
But I mean, it's just really good that you're giving Richard Sherman the benefit of the doubt here and not jumping all over him, because there needs to be at least one show that does this. You know what I mean?
Yeah. Josh, because the thing about it is, I understand that anxiety, depression is real because I deal with it, man. Like, real talk. Like, man, my wife will tell you, you know what I'm saying? Like, I'm serious, man. I deal with anxiety and depression, and it's not, you know what I'm saying? It's times where I have to talk to her about some things, you know what I'm saying? To be able to like departmentalize what's going on in my life. Like, I had to like go to therapy to talk to a therapist in order for me to like get myself straight. Like you talk about suicide, man. I've been there. Like, I promise you, I'm gonna tell you a real story. I remember me sitting in the bed. I was by myself in my house by myself. I got a knife out the kitchen and I was sitting in my bedroom, and I had the knife to my wrist and I was trying to muster up the strength to end it all. And just something in me was like, don't do it. Like, don't do it. You know what I'm saying? Like, this was before like I started to like work at the radio station, this was before like podcasts, all this stuff. Like, and I thank God that I didn't do it. I'm serious, man. If I probably would have had a drink or probably just got myself completely inebriated, I wouldn't be talking to you today. I'm just being serious. So suicide, anxiety, depression is real. And I can't jump on this guy, especially when he's going through something that so many people like myself, like you just mentioned, Aaron just mentioned, I can't do it. And there's some things bigger than football. So I can't do it, man. If somebody just looking at me to say, oh, man, it's not ruined this career, then it's not the right show, man, because I can't do it.
TJ, I got to tell you something, bro. Your story, I cannot believe how similar we are. I've done the exact same thing. Back when I was an alcoholic, drunk, homeless guy and all that. You remember me telling you that, right? You remember my whole backstory.
Yeah, I remember, man. I remember you talking about that.
Okay, so when I was first starting to become an alcoholic, before I went homeless, and I still had an apartment and everything, I got depressed about something for a while, and I wanted to kill myself. And like you, I was going to take a big butcher knife and put it through my own throat, right?
Yeah.
But here's the thing. I knew that I didn't have the courage to do it when I was sober.
Yeah.
So what I would do is every night I would purposely drink myself to the point where I felt like I would have the courage to do it.
Mm-hmm.
And I mean, I held that knife to my throat a lot, but every time I got the balls to do it, I swear to God, this is true, I blacked out and woke up the next morning sober. This went on for like 2 months. So me and you have like the exact same story in this way. That's just so when you were telling me that, it just hit me. I had like flashbacks to 2002. I'm like, dude, like I don't know how to even end this call. Thanks, TJ, for sharing this stuff, man.
Man, I had to, man. I mean, and the thing about it, Josh, before you go, I mean, I can remember the night. Like, I remember like how my bed was positioned. I remember like the moon coming in.
I thought it's kind of. How old were you?
Man, this was before I met my wife, so it had to be like around 4 years ago. So I was about 30. I was about 30 years old, and like I said, man. I promise you, if I would have had a drink or something like that, man, I wouldn't be talking to you today. But it was just something in me that said, "Don't do it." Something, there's a better purpose for you. And when I didn't do it, man, I'm glad I did, because I have opportunity to share this story with people like you and all the listeners. And I'm here doing this show today, man. So when people ask me, you know what I'm saying, like, man, how you know what I'm saying, like, man, I'm just so fortunate to be here. But Josh, thank you, man, for sharing your story too. And you already know, man, you can call back anytime. Thank you so much, man, for your bravery here tonight.
You know how we need to end this call? We need to have Ghostfish Gorilla play some guitar for us, man. That's what we need to
do. Sound good, man. Hey, if you keep saying it every time you call in, eventually, most likely, he'll probably call in and do it, man.
All right, brother.
All right, take it easy. Yeah, that's Josh, man. Man, it's real, man. I tell y'all, man, when I tell y'all you are my family, you're my family. And family shares things like this. And I just feel like this is the right show to have these type of conversations. And and this is a sports show. So if you want to talk about sports, feel free. But if you want to share your story, if you want to talk about this situation, feel free to do so, man. Feel free. Go to comments here. Chemo says, God had different plans for you, TJ and Josh. Yeah, I believe that. Because after I decided not to do it, I got a job at the radio station, 90.9 FM. I met my wife. Started doing this podcast. I had my son. And no matter what you're going through in life, man, I don't care how dark your life may seem. Man, there's always light at the end of that tunnel. Always. That tunnel is dark sometimes. Sometimes, you know what I'm saying, like you reach in and you're trying to find a flashlight and you can't find one, but you have to put those hands in front, you know what I'm saying, to navigate yourself. But don't ever give up, because there's light at the end of that tunnel, man. There's light at the end of the tunnel. You know, I hope somebody out there that's dealing with anxiety and depression understands that, man. There's help. There's avenues for you. Please don't feel like you in this alone. Don't feel like, you're the only one that's going through these type of situations. There are so many people out here that are dealing with situations like this, and there's help for you. So don't give up, man. Do not give up. We're going to go to Dalton. Dalton, what's going on, man? How you doing?
I'm doing good. Can you hear me?
Yeah, I can hear you just fine, Dalton. Thank you for being on the State of the Saints podcast. What you got for us?
Well, the thing is with Richard Sherman, like in 2011 through 2012, he had Gus Bradley as defense coordinator. In 2012, remember they beat the Patriots with Russ Wilson as a rookie. Mm-hmm. He trash talked Tom Brady. He had to delete his Twitter account. And 13 through 14, he had Dan Quinn as defense coordinator. Right. And remember, he ripped Michael Crabtree after the game. Right. And during a Super Bowl, he had an ankle injury against the Broncos. In 2015 through 17, well, remember, he had Chris Richard as defensive coordinator. Yeah. In 2017, he had, he got injured, Achilles injury, and the Seahawks released him. Mm-hmm. In 2018 through 2020, he had Robert Shayla as defense coordinator. He got burnt by Sammy Watkins. Thing is with Richard Sherman, like we all know, he's a good zone corner. He's not a good man-to-man. He's not very like Darrelle Revis, Deion Sanders, all those guys.
I don't know, man. I think that he's a good man-to-man corner, but the difference is between what I would say, Dalton. The difference between those guys is they actually traveled. Richard Sherman mostly played on the left side, stayed on the left side, and he did a really good job over there. So in his prime, he was a good man-to-man corner. When like he started to get older, you start to see him go more, go on the inside as well as the outside. So I don't want to just dismiss him. I mean, you can't be a 3-time first-team All-Pro, 2-time second-team All-Pro, and a 5-time Pro Bowler and not be a man-to-man corner. I don't think that they will actually give you that type of respect. But if you want to say, like, as he got older, maybe he slowed down a little bit, I can agree with that. But let me ask you this, Dalton. What do you think about this whole Richard Sherman situation? Were you on board before this whole situation went down with the domestic violence issue? Did you think that the Saints may need to look at him, or did you think that the Saints may need to look at another veteran corner? What's your thoughts on that?
Well, to be honest with you, another veteran cornerback. I mean, yes, I know Rich Sherman knows Chris Shaw very well, but I was feeling like be like Drake Kirkpatrick or Steven Nelson.
Okay. Yeah, I mean, all those guys are really good, and I can understand that, man. So, last question. Do you think that Richard Sherman's career is over? Do you think he can salvage his career? What do you think about Richard? Has he played his last down in the NFL?
Honestly, his career is over, to be honest with you.
Wow. Well, we'll see, Dalton. But thank you so much, man, for the timeline, and thank you for your take. Oh, you got something else to say?
Yes, I actually got something.
Yeah, go ahead.
Well, the thing is, like, we all know he had with Brandon Browner, Brian Maxwell, Earl Thomas, and Cam Chancellor with the Legion of Boom.
Right.
And also, that part I'm done. I do got a question for you.
I
know when I heard this guy who says that young cornerbacks are hungry when you had talk with him.
Right.
I know we need like KJ Watt or Quan Alexander.
Right.
In your opinion, do you think we need a defensive tackle, a veteran?
Oh, no, I really don't, because the benefit that the Saints have, Dalton, is you have these young interior linemen that have developed inside of the Saints system. Ryan Nielsen, who is the defensive line coach, has done an outstanding job with this line. So when you got guys like Shad Tuttle, Malcolm Roach going into his second year, Shad Tuttle going into his third year, you got David Onyemata, who has developed being one of the top 5 interior linemen in the NFL. I think they're just fine. You look at now, Malcolm Brown was much better than people give him credit for. I will give you that. But Sheldon Rankins, who was good, but he was always in and out of the lineup. So, Dalton, a lot of these guys we actually had the benefit of seeing because Malcolm Brown got hurt last year and Sheldon Rankins. So we seen Shad Tuttle, Malcolm Roach play in certain situations. So I think the Saints should be fine at the interior lineman position. And also, you got to think about Lorenzo Neal Jr., who's the rookie out of Purdue. I think he might be able to make the team, and I think he might be able to bring some depth.
Well, we got young defense tackle. The reason I was asking veteran, let's say young. I mean, I know Chateau's doing good. Of course, they get more reps, though. That's the reason why I was asking.
Right. Oh, yeah. I mean, look, more reps you get, the more experience you get, and you'll be able to deal with different situations. So I think that the Saints will be just fine at interior lineman. But Dalton, thank you so much, man. I appreciate the call. Call back anytime, man, and thank you for the information.
All right, thank you. You have a good day, sir.
All right, you too, man. Take it easy. Man, shouts out to Dalton, man. Always coming through, always putting information out there for me on Facebook. Shouts out to Dalton, man. Thank you so much. I want to take this moment to let you all know that the State of the Saints podcast is indeed brought to you by Manscaped.com. Okay, Manscaped.com, the official sponsor of the State of the Saints podcast. And as you know, that summer is here. And are you ready to unveil your beach bod? You're in luck. Our friends at Manscaped just launched their 4th generation performance package, which includes the Lawnmower 4.0. You heard me right. The Lawnmower 4.0. Complement your dad bod or your 6-pack abs with a trim from the leader in male grooming. The sun is shining and calling your name, fellas. Join the 2 million men worldwide who trust Manscaped. Use the promo code State of Saints That's all one word in lowercase letters, State of Saints. You will save 20% off. And all my people listening in Canada and across the pond in the UK, there's free international shipping. Manscaped.com. Use the promo code State of Saints. Tragic, thank you very much for the $4.99. Says blessings to you as well, my friend. Thank you so much. We'll read a few more and then we'll get to Keen Arthur. Cass says the devil uses you to think killing yourself is the way out, but God gives you strength to fight that temptation. To everyone in the chat, love y'all and God bless. Any problems we run through in life, stay strong. Thank you so much for the positive energy, Cass, and thank you so much for being a supporter. I definitely agree with what you're saying there. You know, I mean, that's definitely not the answer. Anybody that's going through those type of situations, just know that your life has value. People love you. People appreciate your existence. And if you don't believe me, you know, never, you know what I'm saying? I won't say lead this world, but if you do, I guarantee you, there are going to be a lot of people that miss you more so than you think. Hey, TJ, let me in and I'll tell you my life story. Matthew, feel free, man. I'm going to go ahead and take a few more calls in a minute. I'll go ahead and put that link down for those that just tuned in. We're talking about Richard Sherman. Of course, y'all know about the situation. I'll go ahead once again for the courtesy of those that just tuned in that may be wondering what we're actually talking about here. This is from ESPN.com. It says free agent cornerback Richard Sherman is facing several charges, including one on suspicion of burglary, domestic violence, after he was arrested at his wife's parents' residence in Redmond, Washington, early Wednesday. Redmond Police Department Chief Darrell Lowe says at a news press conference. He says that Sherman also faces charges of suspicion of resisting arrest and malicious mischief in addition. Washington State Patrol Captain Ron Meade says at a news conference that the department is also to refer Sherman to a prosecutor for possible misdemeanor DUI and hit and run charges related to a separate incident on Wednesday. Sherman sustained a minor laceration to a lower leg and ankle and was treated at a local hospital as a result of contact from a police dog, which was used to apprehend. That's according to the police chief, Darrell Lowe. Okay, so there's a story right there. Richard Sherman, still in custody right now. He has to stand before a judge tomorrow afternoon. If you're looking at this show on a Wednesday night, it's going to be Thursday afternoon, July 15th. He'll be able to stand in front of a judge. Of course, they'll read off his charges, and if there was bail set, the judge will set a bail for Richard Sherman. And for those that also just tuned in, I'm going to go ahead once again and play the 911 call. This is Richard Sherman's wife calling 911, trying to get help for her husband, Richard Sherman.
I need officers to my house now. My husband is drunk and belligerent, threatening to kill himself.
Stop. What's the address? Are there any weapons? Stop.
No, there's no gun. I'm saying there are no weapons, ma'am. There are no weapons.
You need to stop interrupting me so I can get the information I need to get officers expedited.
I need officers here now.
What's he doing that you think he's going to harm himself?
He's being aggressive. He has sent text message. I took the keys out. They're in your car. He's trying to leave now in the house. He's being aggressive. He's wrestling with my uncle. He's threatening to kill himself. He has sent text message to people saying he's going to hang himself. He's saying that if the police show up, so please don't shoot is what I'm asking.
Okay, wait. Say that again.
He has no weapon.
He says if the police show up,
he said if the police show up, that he'll try to fight them. So they need to understand that he is.
Okay. Has it been physical with anybody there? You said he's trying to fight your uncle?
Yes, it has. Yes, it has.
How has it been physical?
He just tried to fight him.
Okay, trying to fight somebody and actually being physical is two different things. How has it been physical?
It's a 2016 black Mercedes. Richard, please stop. Richard, please stop. Please stop.
Is that a sedan, SUV?
It's just a black sedan Mercedes SUV.
Okay.
He's not going to be able to get out the gate. I cut it off.
What do you mean you cut it off?
I cut the gate. We live behind it. It's Richard Sherman. Like, ma'am, this is like a emergency. I need officers here now.
Can we all agree that this 911 dispatcher needs to be fired? What in the world are you thinking? Okay, I'm gonna get the Keen Arthur. Keen Arthur, I appreciate your patience, but what is that 911 dispatcher thinking? Just send some freaking help. All these different questions. What's this 21 questions? I mean, is this Nate Dogg? Is this 50 Cent? Send help. If this lady is literally desperately trying to get you to send somebody out here, and you asking this lady all type of questions. What the call look like? What do you look like? Is he belligerent? Like, who cares? The lady called 911. Send help. What the heck are you thinking right here, man? Like this right here is the true definition of just stupidity. I'm sorry. I'm sorry. Send freaking help. If somebody like desperately, you know what I'm saying, in desperate need of help, telling you that her husband is fighting guys, drunk, you know what I'm saying, belligerent, send help. Period. Like, it shouldn't even be all that. Well, okay, ma'am, you know what I'm saying, we got help. I just called the police. They're on the way, ma'am. Like, stay on the phone with me. I want to make sure that everything is okay. All these different questions that she's asking are completely irrelevant. And honestly, she was just making this lady upset. The role of a 911 dispatcher is to keep the person on the other line calm, telling her to relax. Everything is going to be okay. We're going to send somebody out here. Ma'am, calm down. It's going to be okay. We're here for you. This, that, and the third. That lady needs to be fired tonight. Okay? During the making this podcast, she needs to be fired tonight. That was everything that you do not need from a 911 dispatcher. As a matter of fact, if they have these different meetings, this is what you should not have done. If you are a 911 dispatcher, you are not keeping this lady calm. Going back and forth with this lady is not the answer. It's only making matters worse. Let's go to Keen Arthur, man. Keen Arthur, man, how you doing?
Lord have mercy. What's down with your fam?
Man, I'm doing just fine, man. What you got for us?
Hey, bro. I don't want to rant, but that dispatcher just made me mad, dog. Like, for real.
What the hell is she thinking, Keen Arthur? What was she thinking?
I don't think she was, homie. I'm going to tell you why, bro. Because the same thing happened to me about 3 months ago where, like, TJ, I didn't tell you this, but another one of my businesses, I purchase homes and I rent out the rooms. So one of my tenants at the time, she was pregnant.
Right.
And she came out the house. I was outside. She came out the house and sat on the steps and said, I feel extremely lightheaded and I can't move my legs.
Right.
And, you know, to me, that's an emergency. You pregnant, you almost do, and then something like that happened.
Right.
It could be neurological. So she was like, can you please call 911? So I do that. The dispatcher get on the phone. This lady asked me everything in the book that was not pertaining to the situation, bro. If I'm calling you, it is an emergency. Right. So I tell her what the young lady told me, and she was like, what's the address? Has she consumed anything? I'm like, no. You know what I'm saying? The conversation going okay for now. Then she was like, what part of the neighborhood are you guys in? Is there anyone else at the house? I'm like, what? I'm like, wait. I said, lady, it's an emergency. This young woman does not feel well. She's pregnant and she's feeling lightheaded, throwing up, and about to fall out, can't feel her legs. Why are you giving me 100 million questions? Just send the police over here or send the fire department over here. Know what's even worse, TJ? The fire department, the first responders were literally 0.2 miles away from the house. And she could have called them people. She could have called them people real quick and had them come over there. I ain't never hung up on nobody just on no. Let me just do it. But that was I hung up on the dispatcher, bro, because she was driving me.
My goodness. Look, a dispatcher is supposed to keep people calm. Like when you start, think about this, man. People scared. People don't know what the hell going on. They're calling you because they want you to send somebody out here that can correct the situation or possibly have better answers than them. So why in the world are you sitting up here asking this person a whole bunch of questions? If a person is scared, if a person is nervous, if a person just witnessed something, they just want you to send help. They are just coherent enough to call you and to say, I need help. Just cut the BS and just send some help out there. And the only thing you need to be doing is okay, we're gonna stay on the phone with you, until the first responders get here, just calm down, everything's gonna be okay. But up here asking them questions, going back and forth, man, like just a Jerry Springer show or something, man. Nah, bro.
And
no.
I'm sad to say, TJ, that delay that dispatcher caused, that young lady lost her baby.
Man.
She lost her baby to a miscarriage, dog. Had she got to the hospital faster, I believe they probably could have did something to help the situation. But that dispatcher delayed the response so long and then tried to get an attitude with me because I didn't want to provide any more information that she deemed pertinent. Like, are you serious? You just sat here for 5 minutes asking me questions that don't pertain to the health of this woman.
This is awful.
Talking about something that you need to know so you can give it to the responders. All you have to do is all they need to know is that it's an emergency at this particular address. Then what's even worse, TJ? I'm sorry, bro. I'm not trying to filibuster the show or nothing.
Nah, you good, man. Hey.
What makes it even worse, my guy, is the fact that in her mind, she thought she was doing a great job. She really thought she was doing a great job. So you asked me for my address. First of all, I know people who work at a 911 dispatcher's office. I know that when you call in, they immediately get a ping on your phone so they know where you're at, where you are.
Right.
That's why they call first responders, because they can get to you quickly.
Right.
So when she asked me that, I'm not gonna lie, it made me mad. Like, why are you asking me that? You're wasting precious seconds asking me a question that you already have the answer to.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? But I'm gonna get off that, bro, because I'm just,
man, that's insane, man. I'm sorry that happened to that young lady, and man, I don't know what to say, man. I'm at a loss for words, man. They need to do better. I understand that you got a bunch of phone calls per day, and sometimes you become immune to that. Sometimes probably people not in the best moods. They probably going back and forth with you. But that's one of the main reasons why, your job is to stay calm in all situations like that. And if you can't stay calm and you can't departmentalize, maybe you need to find a different line of work. That's why it takes a special person to be a dispatcher, man.
Right. But I do want to address that caller who went off on the young man who said something about Richard Sherman value decreasing or something.
Yeah.
TJ, you know this. You've been around just as long as me, if not a couple years longer, bro. A big issue in our community is the fact that we're so quick to exile people instead of course correcting them.
Right.
So you don't know. First of all, the guy, I think he messed up by trying to read tone in a dang text message.
Let me say this, Keno. Then hold your thought. I can understand from Aaron's standpoint, because when a situation like this happens and it hits so close to home, it affects you. You know what I'm saying? And you're already your emotions are already high. Right. So when you see stuff like that, you're not really identifying that. You know what I'm saying? And I can also understand, you know what I'm saying? Like you just mentioned, tone, right? Because we don't know. If I say this, right, man, this about to mess up his contract versus, man, this might mess up his contract. Isn't that two different deliveries? And you get two different thoughts out of both those statements. So you don't know what a person is saying, but you're so emotional because the situation that the subject is about hits so close to home. You ain't trying to see that. You know what I'm saying? And I get it. especially a person that has experienced that themselves. But King Arthur, go ahead, man. I just wanted to go ahead and clarify.
I understand what you're saying, TJ, and I do want to say this, bro. I'm glad that you made another decision and that caused you to still be here with us, bro. Yeah. We need all our kings, bro. I understand. Yeah. I understand your crown was a little crooked for a second, man, but I'm glad you got it on the straight.
I appreciate that, man.
And that leads me to say this. Robin Williams had a quote that I saw a couple of days ago. It said, "Be kind to everybody. You don't. They're fighting battles that you don't know exist," or it was something like that. So be kind always. Right. You know what I'm saying? So the way, this is why I really had a problem with the way old boy got on the phone and went ham. I understand you say it could have hit home for him too, but we still have to. We're responsible for how we respond to adversity. You know what I'm saying? So nobody's gonna disparage you for feeling the way you feel, but how you respond to that feeling, we can hold you accountable for. And that's why that leads me to say this. You don't know what this young man is going through on the other end who made the comment about Richard Sherman. He could be having the same issues that you, TJ, explained that you were having. Right. And him going off like that could have made the guy who made the comment feel unwanted, and now he's thinking about taking his life. Hopefully not, but that could happen. So you got to watch how you talk to people, man. Just because you feel differently does not give you the right to come at somebody in the kind of way. You hear me?
I got you. Good point, man.
So that's all I'm saying. I'm not attacking either one of these guys, but what I'm saying is, as a people, as a community, bro, we have to course correct each other without demeaning each other.
Yeah.
Oh, I'm gonna block him. This is like, why would you do that? This man needs guidance. If he did what you said or what you think he did, then that means he needs guidance. He doesn't need to be blocked or shunned.
Right. Yeah. I mean, look, I can understand. I can understand everybody's standpoint. You know what I'm saying? I can understand yours, Aaron's, as well as the comment. You know, I get it. You know, my whole stance is, if a person is looking at it from a football standpoint and only a football standpoint, I just feel like it dehumanizes the subject at hand, which is Richard Sherman. This is a human, and sometimes like we dehumanize guys that we consider larger than life because we feel like you're in this tax bracket, you drive this car, you live in this house, you live in this neighborhood. What do you have to complain about? But we're not looking at the fact that these guys are humans. They go through human situations. Look, you get into a fight with your wife or your husband, they get into a fight with their wives or their husbands. You know what I'm saying? Like we're all living in this world. Some of us live on top of a hill, some of us live in a valley, but at the end of the day, we're all human. But Keen Arthur, thank you so much, man. I appreciate the call, and call back anytime, man. Thank you for those words, man.
Hey, TJ, I want to say one last thing, and then I'm gonna get off your line, bro. It amazes me that our society has adopted this mindset of we can ignore. If you say you did 10 things, you were asked to do 10 things. You got 9 of them perfectly, but the one that you messed up is the one that dwells in people's mind. You know what I'm saying? That's the one they want to scrutinize you for, but constantly ignore the effort that you put forth by getting 90% correct.
All right.
You know what I'm saying? We have to change our mindset, bro. It's that simple. I'm gonna let you go, dog. Peace and blessings.
Yeah, man. We'll leave it at that. Keen Arthur, thank you so much, man. Call back anytime.
All right, bro.
Yeah, man. Yeah, that's real talk right there from Keen Arthur, man. I think that's something that we all can apply to our everyday living, man. Let's uplift one another. Let's have these conversations. Let's make sure that we understand one another, and let's not dismiss each other so quickly, man. Let's try to learn about one another and try to see if we can get on the same page. Nate Dogg, giving a shout out to Ghostface Griller, says, "You psychic." Thank you very much for the $2. Dennis says that dispatcher needs Jesus. No, that dispatcher needs another job, Dennis. Thank you very much for the $5. I appreciate that. Stroll down a little bit, and then we're going to go to Rudy. Rudy, sit tight, man. Let me read a few of these comments. Be right there with you. Let's see. Jack says, so sorry to expound. Richard is highly educated from Stanford. Why? Just why it must have been so bad in his eyes. Well, you know, I don't think education has anything to do with it, man. I mean, your education, how much money you have in the bank, where you're from, none of that stuff plays a role when you're upset or you're hurting or you're in pain. Like that don't matter. You know what I'm saying? Like if I'm thinking about hurting myself or I'm feeling like being depressed, I'm not going to think about that Jackson State degree that I got on my wall. You know what I'm saying? I'm not going to think about some of the people that lives I may have touched. You know what I'm saying? I'm just thinking about I'm hurt and I want this feeling that I have inside of me to go away. So yes, he is he did get a degree from Stanford. Yes, he is educated. Yes, he is a successful football player. But at the same time, that stuff is not important when you're dealing with pain. All right. You know what I'm saying? Like that's just a fact. You know, nobody cares about that kind of stuff. You just want that pain to go away. But we can go ahead and go to Rudy. Rudy, how you doing, man?
I'm doing I'm doing all right. I had a great little stuff with my family. First off, this boggles my mind. How the hell? I never thought in my wildest dreams I'd actually see or hear entitlement from a dispatcher. I thought,
that was awful, man.
I hope Canada have, and lo and behold, I guess I can cross that off my bucket list now.
Awful.
But by the way, I do agree with you when it comes to like how we dehumanize people. I'm like, that's a good point because the more you put someone on the pedestal, the greater the fall they'll have, you know.
Right.
But because they try to justify it, you know, and whenever we're like on our own pedestal, like a small one, we basically step off it. They're like, "What you do?" You know.
Right.
They try to throw everything under the sun at us, you know. Ugh. And like it's not just, and to be honest, this kind of reminds me of when this whole ordeal with not only like now to be honest, like we don't know what he did all the time, what Richard Sherman all did, you know, but it kind of reminds me of what happened with Ray Lewis, Ray Rice, and even Michael Vick, you know.
Right.
Like only one of those we got. I think it was only not Ray Rice. It was Ray Lewis that got let it come back in the league, right?
Right.
Because I'm like, because you don't know what got Michael Vick to do what he did, you know, with the dog fights and whatnot. And like, I'm like, it could have been a buddy that probably coerced him to do it, you know?
Yeah, man, like, you never know. You never know.
Also, like with Michael Jordan's gambling problem, you know, at one point, you know?
Right. Yeah, I mean, you never know, man. Like, you never know what people be going through. You never know what, you know what I'm saying, battles that they face. And we really don't know, Rudy.
And to be honest, to be honest, this thing is like literally like it's not just for people we like make them seem larger than life. It happens in their everyday life, you know, like their own family. There are people who put their children on pedestals, and that's why I firmly believe that we need to bring the belt and discipline back in schools, especially. But it starts at home.
Yeah.
But what was I gonna say? But to be honest, look, this is just like I feel like this is just a small blight on Rich Sherman's career. You know, I mean, it's not like he actually decked the girl, but now in Ray Rice's defense, someone was trying to hit him too, so it was mostly self-defense. But I don't know everything. Like to be honest, that's why I'm glad when it comes to domestic violence, they start asking questions like who instigated what, basically how we get to the fight. You know.
Yeah, I mean, most of them in some states, man, if the police come out for domestic violence, they take both individuals to jail.
I for that because think about it. Think about it. That reminds me that you just made me remember what I was about to say. When it talks about like mental health, you know, like I know we try to strengthen women. Like, sure, they're emotional and all, but what about the guys? 90% of all suicides are men. Most, I think like 9%. Am I correct in that statistic? 9% of suicides are men.
I'm gonna have to check that research. I don't want to say that it's right or wrong. I'm not sure about that.
It's a high percentage that commit suicide more than women. But like there's all this whole line of things. Like, and what's the one thing that they tell us?
What's that?
Do you know that one phrase they always tell us growing up when we want to cry or something like that?
Yeah, man up. Be a man. Yeah.
guys, look, this is from a guy who literally who has his own mental disabilities, like, and was a big crier. But because I've barely held it, it's like I want to, it's like I can't, unless something truly upsets me,
Yeah.
And see, the thing is, that's the problem, guy. And this is like a PSA, a public service announcement for all the men out there, guys. Crying is not a sign of weakness.
Yeah.
It's basically saying, hey, I need help. I'm dealing with something I just can't handle right now.
Mm-hmm.
Need some help, please.
Right. That's a good point, man.
Don't
yeah, they tell us as men, like, we have to be the epitome of strength, and we don't need to show like any signs of weakness, because if you do, that means that you're weak. But that's not true, man. I mean, some things affect you. But go ahead, man. I just wanted to say that.
But can I get a little? I hate doing this, but can I get a little personal real quick?
Yeah, man. Feel free, man. Feel free.
Because this happened to me a couple years ago. Because my biggest fear growing up was my parents' divorce. Growing up, I'm like, if I can go back in time, I want to slap myself because they're way better off divorced. But it was around the time when me and my mom were always constantly fighting, and I was dealing with a lot of depression. More now when she left. And I'm a 28-year-old, and I'm a 28-year-old man, and that's stuff still.
Yeah.
It's like, how do you process that?
Yeah.
Like, one day she's up and left. She's gone. Next, I find out she's dated and married. I'm like, that's a lot to take on. Like, and even the ink dried on the divorce. But a couple years ago, I went in this closet right here.
Mm-hmm.
A tie, that blue tie I had in my a wall a couple times.
Yeah.
I used that to almost kill myself with.
Glad you didn't, man. I'm glad you didn't.
Like I
glad you didn't, man.
I was tighten the knot when and pull when literally it felt like the hand of God was like saying no.
Right. That was it.
I mean, I was like I'm like I said, I've several times I want, like, of course we always want to run away with kids,
right.
But the thing is, the biggest question before stops us is, where am I gonna go? That like if I go where I plan to go, they can literally just come get me,
Yeah.
And the butt whooping's gonna be worse when you get home.
Right.
Because if you see your mom and your siblings in a vehicle going down the street, and she says your dad's looking for you, you and him, you better get home, or else the butt whooping's gonna be a hell of a lot worse.
You're right about that, man.
That's the one time I can remember saying, I honestly say, because my dad just spanked me, and I'm okay,
Yeah.
I'm all by insensitive because of it. But this is the one time I can remember to say, I don't remember what happened afterwards. Dad was always adamant about my grades. He was on me because he never graduated. He dropped out of high school, and he wanted me to do.
Right.
And two, I wanted off after he already gave me the preventative butt whipping slap. Like, because as kids we always like we made like forward dance up, but we stepped too far over. We're dead. We're literally we're digging our own grave.
Right. He's right.
But yeah, that's the one time I don't remember anything after that butt whooping.
that was a legendary butt whooping right there, man.
My pants. I was like, why are my pants wet? Dodger, you get the bathroom. Oh, that's why.
Man, hey, I'd have been there a couple of times, man. I used to get them butt whoopings sometimes from my mom that you go to sleep right after. That's when you got that good butt whooping. You go to sleep after you wake up 4 hours later.
Yes, she had you pick out your own switch. The good ones where the
yeah, and you had to get a good one
out of my front yard. By the time we got those things were trimmed down pretty good.
Man, hey, that's funny and sad, Rudy. That's funny and sad.
Dad, when someone's just getting butt whooped, they have another sibling pick it for them. My brother was stupid and always get the little ones. That had the perfect recoil, My brother tried to get the big ones that wrap around your leg. That was just bad.
Nah, that's crazy.
Of course, my dad stopped that and used a paint stirrer on me.
Oh man, look.
But
I mean,
hey, I'm a law-abiding citizen, so.
Hey, I mean, look, those butt whoopings, they hurt, but you think about them when you become an adult.
And it always hurt worse when the dads whooped you,
Yeah.
Moms, you got to like that. When dad's like, you hurt for like a week.
Yeah. Man. Yeah, definitely remember some of those legendary butt whoopings, Rudy, man. But
like, especially because I know it says it takes a village to raise a child, but like, I hate to go on this little tangent. I apologize.
Nah, you okay, man.
But it's like whenever because think about it, whenever you get called to the office, you always think negative, right?
Right.
Never, even with a positive, like, am I in trouble? but this is the one thing. Do you want me to call it? Because if they say we're gonna call your mom, we're like, fuck it, go ahead, call it. But one person that they did not want to say is we're going to call you that, like, you want my pants up or down?
Oh man, I remember them days.
Think about it. If your dad had to get a call from school at his work, he would have clocked out, come back, picked you up, whipped you with your own paddle, clocked back, and then whipped you when he got home for him to make him leave work. Right?
Right. You're right, man. Look, I mean, look, this man you've been telling us some legendary stories here tonight, man. I'm pretty sure you're taking a lot of people back. Rudy, thank you so much, man, for your comments, man. Thank you so much for your honesty. Appreciate it, man. I got a couple more calls I got to get to, man, but I appreciate it, man.
So, dude, I got one more thing.
Yeah, what's that?
Please, if you feel like you're going through depression, anxiety, or whatever mental issues, please seek help. Yeah. Reach out to a friend and make sure you can trust them.
Yeah.
Because people are like branches on a tree that leave you high and dry. Yeah. Look for your friend. Look for the roots of the tree as your friends, because those are your true friends. Because without those roots, the tree can't live. It may have millions of branches and leaves, but that root, it may have 3 roots. Without those roots, the tree can't live.
All right, man. Powerful words right there. Thank you, Rudy, for those comments, and thank you for your honesty, man. Thank you for your bravery here tonight, man. Appreciate it. Yeah, take it easy. Yeah, man. Man, he took me back with some of them butt whooping stories, man. Dennis, thank you very much for the $5. Said cheers. Oh, God bless. Go Saints. Yeah, shout out to Dennis, man. Thank you so much for being here. Let's see. Josh says, watching the State of the Saints podcast makes me wish the world wasn't so tough. I wish the world was like the State of the Saints podcast. Well, I'm just glad that we're able to talk sports, talk about this situation, and also, man, be able to share some stories, man, to help other people out there, man. Let everybody know, man, no matter what you're going through in life, man, there's so many other people out there going through some of the same situations, and, let you know that you're not alone. Casey says, mental illness or not an excuse to commit a crime. Sometimes, Casey, the world isn't as matter of fact as you're making it out to be, and I get it, If you're a law-abiding citizen, probably never been through a situation like that, I get it, right? You do a crime, go to jail, whatever. But there's something clearly what's going on here. There's nothing normal about a guy, talking about committing suicide. It's nothing normal about a guy getting drunk and fighting his uncle. It's nothing normal about a guy fighting the police. There's nothing normal about a guy have to get apprehended by a dog attacking you. There's nothing normal about the fact that a guy can't post bail because they feel like it's right that he sits in jail. And let him wait it out for a day before they come up with a decision. That's not normal behavior. And if you think that if the world is matter of fact, that's fine. But I think we all can agree that there's something wrong here. I mean, we have to, you got to understand that the world, it isn't as matter of fact sometimes as, as we want it to be. Guys go through situations, and you can say that I'm justifying that, but I'm not. I'm just being real. I think sometimes we talk about people, and I'll put it to you like this, and I'll get to Matthew. Have you ever been so angry that you just completely lose control, let loose, and you think about it probably 30 minutes or an hour later, man, I shouldn't have said that. Man, I shouldn't have did that. But in the heat of the moment, you have this venom that you have to unleash. But you go back and you're like, man, I shouldn't have said that. Man, I shouldn't have did that. That's life. Like logic usually does not kick in when you're frustrated, when you're angry, when you're dealing with situations. Now, some of those people out here that's cool head Luke 24/7, 365, Kanishiwa. You know what I'm saying? Like, like good for you. But the world doesn't work like that for a lot of people out here. Sometimes when we're mad, it's hard for us to departmentalize and say, hold up. Let me get away from this situation. How many guys in a pen right now? How many women's in a pen right now? Because at that particular time, in a heat of passion, in a heat of the moment, they made a mistake that they can never ever rectify. How many? How many can you think of? How many stories have you seen from these prison shows that we watch, these movies that we watch? If I had it back, I wish I wouldn't have did that. That's how, you know what I'm saying? Like, the world doesn't work like that. That's just what it is, man. IB says, I never got butt whoopings. My parents knew even back then that my butt could fight back all by itself. I'll be ripping them. Thank you very much for the $5. I appreciate that. Thank you very much. But let's go ahead and go to Matthew. Matthew, thank you so much for being on the State of the Saints podcast. Appreciate you calling in. What you got for us?
Thank you. I don't know if y'all can hear me or not. Can you hear me?
I can hear you just fine, man. Loud and clear.
Right. Yeah, man. I'm just laughing about this situation with these butt whoopings. I ain't gonna even lie, bro. I'm from New Orleans too, and I'm from the St. Thomas, you know.
Okay.
And I moved to the Ninth Ward later on once they shut down the St. Thomas. But
right.
But I would have been happy to get an ass whooping. we used to have to stand in the corner in that squat position for hours.
Oh,
if
my
it
goodness.
wasn't that, like my mama would literally take an extension cord, wrap some knots in that hole, and wear our ass out. And when that didn't work, and they got to the point, oh, this kind of stuff is child abuse and shit. She used to sit our ass in the corner on our knees on a crate, the little milk crates with the squares or triangles in them, with some rice on top of them hoes. And we had to sit there for hours on a day. Those was the real ass whooping and got your mind right. Like, we ain't getting no bells and switches. So I would have been happy to take that ass whooping.
Man, I definitely got the extension. I definitely remember them extension cord days, man. I remember that.
Oh,
sorry, mama. I know she watched the show, but hey, it is what it is. You know what I mean? Look, you see what I'm doing right now, so it helped. Okay, but go ahead, man.
Yeah, man. Bro, this stuff just wild to me. Like, I didn't even hear the stuff about the dispatch until you played the clip. I didn't know nothing about it. I was just like, when I first heard the Richard Sherman situation, I was just like, I heard something about him having a car. You know, it could have been he dished it or some kind of accident. And then they was just saying like, oh, he was at his wife's house and they had some kind of dispute. And so I'm like thinking like maybe, it's his ex-wife. It's not his actual wife right now. So I'm thinking
well, hold on, Matthew. Hold that thought, because I was actually on Twitter and she was going at it with ESPN reporter Adam Schefter, because she said she's still married to Richard Sherman. This came from Ashley Moss, okay? Ashley Moss or Ashley Sherman, and she also said on the call that she called herself Ashley Sherman, so she says she's still his wife. So I just want to make that clear. But go ahead, man.
But yeah, I was like thinking, because that's when I first heard it. I was at work and I was just listening to ESPN, and I watched going through listening to all the State of the Same broadcasts and things that I missed, so I catch up on them the next day.
Appreciate that, man.
About this time, I normally go to sleep, so I always, when I'm at work, I hit that like button, listen to the one from the day before. If it's a late cast, and I'll be out of it. But I mean, I was listening to it, and I'm like thinking that it's what 1-2 in the morning. Maybe he got a phone call, something was going on at his wife's house or something. The wife called him up, hey, such had the car and there was in an accident or something. And he probably came over there being mad in a mindset, you know,
right,
and they wouldn't let him in the house or something like that. Like I didn't expect it to be as severe and bad as it actually is. Listening to the dispatch and you know the other stuff that come out later on, and just due to that situation of listening to it, he said that he only wanted to play like another 2 years. So to me, his career is over because he's gonna be out. Even if things have a turnaround, he's gonna be out for probably like half of a season. Like at least with Roger Goodell, there's no telling with him, especially with a case like this. You know what I'm saying? So I was rooting for him because I was like, man, I hope he come here and to the Saints and our secondary. Man, it would be a whole lot better if he did before this situation. So
I felt the same way.
Yeah, I don't see them. I don't see the Saints getting him now. I mean, even if it was good, with Laddie Daddy being out the first couple games, if you know it goes that way, I maybe if something turned out better, the Saints probably. I was looking at it maybe if it wasn't severe as it is, you know, maybe. They could pick him up during like the third or fourth game somewhere around there, and they would have been a little bit okay. But no, it's I don't see him making it to us on the team, and like I said, I believe his career is over because due to this situation, he probably that's even if he played this year. And with him only having 2 years, saying that he want to play 2 years, I don't see it happening.
Well, I think anytime like when the NFL hear the two words domestic violence, you know, you automatically just start to think about the situation with Ray Rice, and they want to completely like eliminate themselves from that situation. Now, I will say this. We seen guys like Josh Gordon get second chance after second chance. We seen people like Antonio Brown get second chance after second chance. But the only difference is Richard Sherman, I want to say, is 33 years old. Now, if he probably did this when he was like young and in his prime, probably would have got suspended. If he was a free agent, would have got picked up because of his talent. But now you combine the fact that multiple injuries up there in age and this situation happened, might be a little bit tough. Now, some teams that probably was looking at him, thinking about possibly bringing him in after training camp, somebody get hurt. Maybe if this situation is not as bad as it seems, or you know it blows over, maybe in a couple weeks, if a team desperately needs somebody to come in, maybe he can get signed then. But right now, based on his age, his injury history, and this situation right here, it's not good, man. It's not good. Not looking good at all.
Yeah, it's really not good. And then I look at the situation at even though he didn't, like I said, when you think domestic, you think about the violence part, about fighting and hitting, or worse, that, you know, that's just the bare minimum of it.
Right.
But even with that situation, he like the wife said that he didn't hurt her, he didn't hurt the kids or nothing like that. He didn't make it into the house. He caused some damage at the door. But the fact of him, you know, fighting the police and stuff, that's kind of stuff that is not going to take lightly to that. Not only the NFL, but the police in general, because you know they like to make examples of niggas just in general. I'm not just saying that as you know, racist thing, but they like to make example of people when it comes to stuff like that, especially what goes on in the nation and in the world this time, you know. And due to the situation of you know, him being in that mindset, being drunk and talking about committing suicide, like that stuff just it's just bad, and I'm sorry, you know, he go through that. And I mean, I had situations where I was like that, like after Katrina, like I stay in Texas. I moved to Texas after Katrina. Right. And I've been down here, and I was going through my school year, and they couldn't find my records. So, like I'm telling them what classes I was taking and stuff, and they end up putting me in the same class, and come next year they find my records, and I'm telling them I took these classes, and so they have to make me go back to take class. I'm like, bro, I told you this the year when I came in. Like, that don't make sense. Y'all just threw my whole schedule off for when it came to me being in school. So I didn't even like school when I came down here. But I took a test, you know, and just due to what was going on with the hurricane, me not knowing what my family was, me not knowing what my friends was, me not hearing from anybody, I was going through a lot, plus the stuff with the school and stuff. So I fell into a deep depression, like literally. I'm in a house with my mama, my brother. I got two older brothers and a younger sister. I'm in a house with everybody. I literally was so depressed that I didn't leave my room unless I had to go to school. And when I come home, I didn't leave my room unless I had to come out to eat or go use the bathroom, freshen up, you know, that kind of stuff.
Right.
Other than that, nobody seen me. Like, I literally did not go outside, try to do nothing, try to engage with people or nothing. Like, that's how depressed I was, you know. And when I finally, when I was in school, we took a test. They gave you some stress test. My stress test was above the highest point that they had on the stress test. Wow. Like, that's how much of a stress that I was in and the depression that I was in. You know, and I never been from where I'm from, and my family, we never treated depression as, you know, as that kind of thing, and being as a sickness, you know, people having with ADHD and stuff like that. Nobody didn't really wanted to bring people to the doctor. Us type of people, they did not want to bring us to the doctor, find out. Oh, they'll say, oh, well, he got ADHD. He just need his ass whooped, or some type of stuff. You know, that's how older people was back in the day. You know, so I mean, I was going through a crap load. You know, but luckily, when I got to a depression state and started thinking about suicide, this and that, I thought of the people that I'm gonna leave behind. Like, if I'm devastated going through this, I know how that's gonna affect them. Me being the person that I am, you know. And my family, my mom, my brothers and sisters, they see me. They used to call me Smiley. You know, I was that person that no matter what was going on, I kept a smile on my face. Being in New Orleans at 5 years old, I see my uncle get shot 18 times, 2 clips with a 9. You know, emptied into him outside of my driveway at my house. You know what I'm saying? So we go through things, you know, but all the things I went through, me knowing that my family was there and having that smile on my face and being with my family, doing stuff, having fun times, I know what kind of hurt that'll put on them if I wasn't here. So I didn't do it, and thank God that I didn't. And later on, I got better, you know. And I had another situation with the mother of my kids. I don't really use the word baby mama, but the mother of my kids, you know. And after we had our first child, she was going through depression. A lot of women after they have kids go through depression, and which is something that I didn't know.
Postpartum depression,
postpartum depression, right? So after we got out the hospital and stuff, she was taking my baby a bath, and she literally was going through depression. I didn't know it, and she was taking my baby a bath in the sink because she was just got out the hospital. She was real small, and she almost drowned my baby. I'm like, what is you doing? You know what I'm saying? And just being from a depressed state, I seen certain signs of her being depressed, you know, so I kind of watched it and tried to talk to her, this and that. But man, you never know. You just never know what people going through until you actually sit down and talk to them. You learn about them, about their feelings. They talk to you, you know, and you actually keep up at it, because if you don't do that, you would never know. And it could be a lot worse than what you think it is. You won't even suspect nothing from people, and they could be going through these things. So It's just crazy, man. And I'm really hurt about the situation that's going on with him. I hope it get better for him and the family. You know, the dispatch definitely need to get fired. She do not need to be there.
Yeah, that ain't what that is, bro.
Yeah,
that ain't it.
Just pissed me off when I heard.
That ain't it. That ain't it, bro. That ain't it. Matthew, man, thank you so much for your bravery. Thank you so much for sharing your story. I'm pretty sure you'd touch someone and you'd open somebody's eyes, let them know that they're not alone in this situation, man. Thank you so much. And call back anytime, brother.
Thank you.
All right, take it easy. Yeah, man. Shouts out to Matthew, man. And so many of you that chimed in, telling your stories, man, being brave enough to express it, in this world of sports, man, we focus on these players. We watch these guys. They give us so many great moments. They make us cheer sometimes. They frustrate us, make us want to pull our hair out. But they are human, man. They go through certain situations. I don't know if this is a situation that involves anxiety, depression, beginning stage of CTE, or just a guy that made a bad decision. I don't know. But I do know this, man. We all can learn from this situation, from one another, right? The 911 call, I think it opened up a lot of eyes. I think some of us probably been there, probably seen a family member, probably, like calling because of a situation that happened that's close to you. Talking about suicide, that's probably something that you probably dealt with or dealing with. And if you are dealing with it, man, check out the suicide hotline. You can call them up. There's also a text line that's available. Man, just don't be sitting in your room by yourself thinking that nobody cares about you. Don't just be sitting up in your room just thinking that I ain't got nothing to live for. You probably feel at this moment, but your life isn't finished yet. Some of us are still crying and probably being so frustrated at the introduction of our lives, man. At the introduction of our lives, we crying and we thinking that all hope is lost. And I think about this, man. I think about if I would have went through with taking my life, would I have found my beautiful wife who loves me unconditionally? And she'll tell you I get on her nerves, but she loves me unconditionally. Would I have that wonderful, beautiful son that y'all see come on the show from time to time? I wouldn't have had those moments. Would you have had some of the laughter that you're probably having right now? And think about this too. You taking your own life would be one of the most selfish displays ever, because you're robbing the people that love you with precious moments of laughter, like moment experiences with you. If you're dealing with depression right now, there's help for you. There are people that are willing to listen to you. When you're dealing with anxiety, we all go through it. But don't ever think about not being in this world anymore, because that's not the answer. You are literally robbing people who love you from great moments. I'm not saying this because somebody told me this. I'm telling you this from experience. I mean this. Who That Nation. I mean this, Saints family. I mean it. We can learn something from this situation. We can learn something from it. This is deeper than football. We'll get back to football. We're talking football. If somebody has a question about football, a comment about football, we'll talk about it. But this is deeper than football because there are so many people that probably been in situations or feel like they're going to go through situations like Richard Sherman went through. Don't ever feel like you're alone. I'm going to read a few more comments, then we're going to go ahead and get up out of here, man. Levi, let's see. Levi says, I suffer from anxiety. I'm 23, lost both of my parents at 13 and 14. And 4 months ago, I lost my sister to drug overdose. Life is hard. Look for the positive. My 2 sisters keep me going. Levi, I'm sorry that you went through those situations. But I tell you what, Levi, you writing this comment is testimony material for somebody that's going through a situation in their life. Because let me tell you something. When you think that you're going through a bad situation, there's somebody out there that is going through a situation worse than you. And him, Levi, expressing this story, this statement, is showing somebody out there that's opening eyes to somebody and probably saying to themselves, you know what? I can get through this. If Levi can get through this, if Matthew can get through this, if Rudy can get through this, Aaron, then I can too. Because we all look at social media and we look at individuals and we think that we got it together. And we look at a person's highlights of their life and we put them up against our actual life. And we just think that that person has it all together. But it's good for us to understand that we all go through situations and we're not alone. Who That Talking says we got to treat each and every person with the same respect as we would want to be treated. I agree with that. We definitely need to. I think the world would be a better place if we did. The world would be a better place if we did. We are all family at the end of the day. Stay positive. Levi, thank you for that statement. Thank you for that comment. Take a little time, stop, look at them in the mirror and check yourself. Jerry, that's a good statement. And also look in the mirror and appreciate what you see. And if you do look in the mirror and you don't like what you see, have the courage and say, I need to change. I need to change my life. I need to change who I am. There's nothing wrong with that. Sometimes we have to have what a lot of people may say as a come to Jesus meeting or a reflection meeting with ourselves. And it's okay for us to make that change. The bigger cowards out here is the ones that look in the mirror and are afraid to make that change when they know for a fact they need to change. And they're okay and they're content with looking in a mirror and not doing anything about it. That's when you lost. But you can always win by checking yourself, reflecting, and doing something about it. Your aha moment can start right now. State of the Saints podcast. It can start right now. You heard people vulnerable come on this show and express themselves about how their life has been and some of the situations that they've been through. That's okay. It's okay to be vulnerable. It's okay. It's okay, folks. I know this is a sports show, but it's okay to be vulnerable sometimes. It's okay to shed tears and cry sometimes, man. Sometimes in tears, that symbolizes a breakthrough. It symbolizes a breakthrough, man. You know, but the final thing I have to say about Richard Sherman, guy's a great player, great football player. Before this, I was one of those people that was lobbying, and I was hoping, and I was very optimistic that the New Orleans Saints was going to not draft him, but pick him up. I was very optimistic about that. Sean Payton talked about how he feels like, he's one of the best players he ever seen. He's one of the smartest players he ever seen. The Saints drafting Paulson Adebo, I think that would have been a good fit. That Stanford connection, the former wide receiver connection, the Chris Richard connection. But as of right now, as of today, at this moment, I do not want to see Richard Sherman on the New Orleans Saints. I want to see Richard Sherman, whatever he's going through, deal with those situations. Not only do I not want to see Richard Sherman on the Saints, I don't want to see Richard Sherman on any NFL team until he gets himself together. Don't know what's going on with him, but I hope he gets it together. I hope he finds peace, whatever he's dealing with, and I hope his family finds peace. And I hope they'll be able to heal together. And this is no way, shape, or form justifying what happened. First off, I don't know what happened, but I just know that behavior is not what normal, everyday individuals do when they are dealing with difficulties. That I do know. The Saints will be all right. Saints, they have some young cornerbacks. They got some cornerbacks out there that the Saints can sign. We're going to have training camp in a couple weeks. A lot of these competitions are going to be intense. They're going to find the right fit, rather it's on the team or not here yet, but they're going to find it. But I hope Richard Sherman finds himself. This has been the State of the Saints podcast. Thank you so much for checking out the State of the Saints podcast. Before you go ahead and get a show a golden thumbs up. Let everybody know that you enjoyed the State of the Saints podcast. If you have not already and you're on the fence, subscribe to the YouTube channel. YouTube.com, search The State of the Saints podcast. Facebook.com, search The State of the Saints podcast. You can also check out the State of the Saints podcast on Twitter and Instagram at State of Saints. State of Saints podcast brought to you by Manscaped.com. Use the promo code State of Saints. You will save 20% off on your purchase of all Manscaped items. Rather it's $100 that you're spending or $10. You will save 20% off. You all take care of yourself. Much love to you. And like always, all I got to say is, who dat?